Warning: the video you are about to view contains delicate information that has been passed down for generations. Some viewers may consider this information to be disturbing or even terrifying. Viewer discretion is advised. Since the dawning of man, we have been intrigued by spiritualism. We know about priests and how they worship the Holy Father and the Holy Son, celebrating the Last Supper and honoring He who had died for our sins. But when we look at the time before, there was already talk of spirits, devils, ghosts, and ancestors watching over us. Native American shamans would use incense, for example, to exorcise dark energies from their people by a process called smudging. They knew that there is more to our world than the physical eye can see.
I'm not crazy. I've been hearing shit.
The map board your artwork is mounted to.
Let's continue where we left off. We can determine the attachment without too much trouble. The entity is moving around from location to location within the castle and doesn't seem bound to a person or an object. So, we know its attachment is environmental. The behavioral and manifestation classifications aren't as easily determined just by looking at a video. When we think of the subtypes being guardian, possessive, or haunting, it may prove difficult to classify when you're not in the field. Seeming that the environment is used by the entity, it pretty much rules out the protective subtype, leaving either the possessive or the haunting subtype. It doesn't seem to actually attack, but it does manipulate the environment. Especially when we analyze the first shot, where the entity is waving at the camera, I believe it sooner to be a cry of help than to be a possessive behavior, classifying this as the haunting subtype. On a video, we can only discover the manifestation by observing the surroundings and the attachment. The people are doing their own thing, nobody is alerted or shows any sign of stress. Everyone is chatting away or watching TV, with no signs of discomfort. This rules out that the manifestation is of malevolent intent and thus not chaotic. The manifestation is probably an apparition, but only by working in the field we can know for sure. Let me tell you a little bit more about the intentions and manifestations of an entity. To explain that, I'll have to tell you about a scientist called Cleve Baxter. Baxter started his career at the CIA, where he functioned as an interrogation specialist and as a polygraph instructor. A polygraph is a machine that measures several psychological indices, such as blood pressure, pulse, respiration, and conduction of the skin. I'll let Cleve Baxter himself explain the details.
I'm Cleve Baxter, and during the next 6 weeks here in San Diego, you're going to be involved in a very intensified instructional course in the use of the polygraph, or so-called lie detector.
On February 2nd, 1966, Baxter got the idea of using one of his plants to calibrate the polygraph. When he watered the plant, with the polygraph still attached, he found readings equal to those of a human when excited. So Baxter, in all his curiosity, conducted a small experiment.
But then it occurred to me, just about 14 minutes along, what would be the real optimum threat to the well-being of a plant. In fact, the imagery of fire entered my mind, and I not only thought, but I fully intended to burn the very leaf that was being tested.
What he found was something we now call primary perception.
But the interesting thing is that right at the split second that imagery of fire entered my mind, the tracing reflecting the changes in the plant just went right off the top of the page. And the only thing that occurred at that time, no lighting of a match, nothing else, merely the imagery of fire.
He continued his research for many years until Grover Cleveland Baxter Jr. died of an illness at the age of 89 on June 24th, 2013. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Even though the plant has no eyes or ears, it can still measure our intentions. They are literally able to notice the intentions of an entity of a different dimension. When we choose to step on a plant in anger or frustration, we manifest as chaotic. When we choose to cherish or adore for its beauty, we manifest as oral. Now, I'm not saying we are plants, but I am saying that we are able to communicate at the level of intentions. And we even have an accurate tool to measure them. Our hearts. It tells us when something is right or wrong, and it's a powerful tool to understanding life and death in a number of ways. And when I say heart, I don't mean the actual physical heart. I mean something that is a little more to the center and behind our heart. Expressions like heartbroken and I have a hole in my heart are there for a reason. They are referring to the energy in our chest that we know as the heart chakra. With this knowledge, we can take the next step into establishing contact. It's time to meet a very personal attachment and learn more about the omnipresent attachment, which is last but not least. But we'll do that in the next episode of Unpronounceable Names. So the next time that you feel watched and you are alone, think about it, because are you really